Hi everyone, welcome back to Daily Endeavours for the 25th of May. I'm Jackson, got a 15 steel step. As always, there'll be timestamps in the description. If you don't want to watch all this stuff, you just want to get to one that you're stuck on, you just want to skip all the other stuff. So yeah, chapters will be there. This is a pretty good set. Items to merchants, deconstructing woodworking items, Dwarven Automata, keeping Cyrodiil, and then killing enemies with Scribed abilities. I wouldn't do these two, I'd just do these three. They're all base game. They don't cost anything to do any of them, even the selling to merchants. Yeah, that's a pretty interesting way to do this. And yeah, keeping Cyrodiil, very unreliable, very difficult to do on your own, especially doing on your own without getting killed by a player during the time. And yeah, this one here, you have to get the last hit of enemies. It doesn't matter how much damage you deal with anything else. If the last hit that kills an enemy is not a Scribed ability, it doesn't work. So things like light attacks, status effects, shit like that might deal kills for that and might slow it down. And comparing 40 enemies to 5 Dwarven Automata when you don't have to worry about how you kill them is just, it's silly, I think. And yeah, woodworking's so easy. So yeah, I'd say just do these three. Just don't worry about these. And this is also fucking requires Gold Road. They really need to drop the amount of enemies that this requires, because weapon abilities and class abilities are easier, but they require fucking less enemies to kill in total. So this one's just shit. I don't like this one. I mean, it's not shit, but it's not great either. Alright, selling to merchants. Firstly, go to any merchant in the game. It doesn't have to be merchants themselves. It could be anybody that you can sell stuff to. So, literally anyone that has a store. So, like this. Just go into the inventory here. Just go to anything that you have 15 items of. Soul gems are usually the best bet, or like river bait. If you don't have 25 items, just use whatever thing you have closest to 25. For example, I'd just use like this, and then you go to Buyback, and you just buy it back, and then you just repeat the process over and over. Can you, fucking hell. Yeah, just do that, and then, yeah, just do that 3 times, and that's it. And what that does is, when you buy stuff back, it doesn't cost you, like, you don't lose money when you buy it back. It just costs the same amount to buy it and sell it. So you don't lose any money. You don't gain any money by doing this. Obviously, you can just sell like loot that you found. But if you don't have anything like worth it to sell, you can just sell something and then buy it back. And yeah, you don't get any losses. So yeah, it's really good. All right, so deconstructing items at a woodworking table. Now this one I prefer using the Imperial City, not Imperial City Prison, just the Imperial City safe zone as soon as you enter the area when you queue in. I'll show you that second, but first I just want to show you if you don't want to go to Imperial City for whatever reason, or you can't. Maybe you're doing this on a level 10 character that you want to level up or something, just to pass the time. There are 3 ways that I suggest. There's the crafting your own woodworking items, so you can just, like, for example, you can craft 8 bows for, what is it, 24 sanded maple, is it? Yeah, 24. See, that's the quickest way, because you can just construct 8 of those and then deconstruct them all in quick succession. But if you don't want to use any of your own materials, if you just want to, like, if you don't want to do this for free, there's 2 other ways. So there's the I use Vocal Guard here because there's a ton of woodworking items you can steal, but you can also use Imperial City, which I think is better. Because the items there are not stolen, you can just take them without having to go in stealth and nothing happens. The only thing is, you have to be level 10, so maybe if you're on like a new character you're leveling up, or if you just don't want to go to Imperial City for whatever reason, this is the other thing. So I'll just show you this first, and then I'll show you the Imperial City way. And the reason I also like this is, what I would do is I would do the Dwarven Automata first, and then you can immediately travel to Imperial City whenever you're ready, because you can travel here for free from anywhere, as long as you're not in Imperial City itself. It just means that you can do your selling, then you can do your Dwarven Automata, and then you can just do this, and it's just, you spend less time running around, that's all. So I'll just show you the Vocal Guard one first. Now, as I said, everything's stolen, so you want to be hidden when you do this, but you can take these items here and you can deconstruct these, and that they will count for woodworking items. So any staves, bows, or shields all count as woodworking items that you can use for this. Just go over to the station when you're all done, and yeah, just go deconstruct. You'll get nightwood. Most of the stuff will be nightwood, or yeah, like the CP140 stuff. I don't know why they never made it so you can get ribite from that stuff. I wish you could. Now, one of the other good ways to get a bunch of woodworking items is through the Fighters Guild. If you come over here, there's some fields here. There's potentially 4. Now, some items are they just don't appear. If you leave the zone and come back, everything will reset. But there's more than 8 items in total, so there's 4 here sometimes. Now, if you're a Nightblade, you can steal stuff in front of people, and you won't get a bounty. So if you have a Nightblade, it's really good to use this. And Cloak, like, even if you make a new Nightblade right now, it'll take you, like, probably a couple of minutes, or like 5 or 10 minutes max, to get yourself to where you have Cloak. So you can get this and make it really easy for yourself super quick. But yeah, so there's 4 shields there. There's a shield over here that you can steal. Now, I'm pretty sure... I have to check. Does she... I guess he still saw me. But she doesn't actually exist, apparently. Like, you can steal stuff right in front of her without being in a cloak, and she doesn't give a shit. What else ain't snitches, I suppose. But yeah, so you can just steal stuff like that, and just do it that way. The other items that you can find are in this building here. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Starfall Arcana and Bright Steel Armory. So Bright Steel Armory has, I think, 6 bows in total. And those will count. And then Starfall Arcana has like 2 staves. Oh yeah, I'll just... A bow here. There's usually a bow lying on the desk as well, so there's 2. There's a bow on here. There's usually 2 bows on here as well. There's 1 bow here, and then there's 1 bow here. So yeah, you've got tons of stuff there. And then in Starfall Arcana, you've also got 2 staves if you go in and look to the left, I think it is. Across, yeah. There's a few staves there. Yeah, you've got plenty of woodworking items you can use in here. But yeah, I still prefer Imperial City. So I'll show you that at the end, because I usually do the Dwarven Automata first, and then I just fast travel over there. There's a couple of places you can find these. Unfortunately, there's no good instance areas for Dwarven Automata, like there are with reptiles and other things, like Humanoid Daedra. But there's quite a few places... Well, there is one instance area, but it's DLC related, so I'll show you that in a second. But yeah, Inner Sea Armature, this is usually where I like to go. There's also... God damn it. There's also in Deshan, you've got Lower Bethaniel over here. This is also full of Dwarven stuff. One of the other places I like to go is... It's called Mathana's, over here. The initial area here. What I prefer with this one is that the enemies are a lot tougher. So I find... way less people tend to come in here and do this as opposed to some of the other places, and it means that you just, because the issue is you get to these other places and usually when you get in there everything's dead because everybody else is doing the same thing, so you have to wait for them to respawn. Whereas if you can find instance places or places less traveled, like Mathana's or Thardark, it's over here somewhere, Raccoon Zelft I think it is, these 2 here, these areas are tougher. The enemies are tougher, and it means that people use these less. So there's less chance of people coming in and killing everything, and you have to wait for it to respawn and shit. But yeah, I'll just show you Lower Bethaniel. So basically, from the Wayshrine over here, or the Harborage if you've unlocked it on Ebonheart Pack side, you just go west, and basically when you get to Shipwreck Strand, you stop in between them, and then you just go south, and it's just up here. There's drummer spiders in here. They come from these steam vents here. And there's also spheres, but the steam vents are what you want to focus on over the spheres, because there's only 1 sphere, whereas the steam vents spawn multiple Dwarven spiders, it's like 10 of them. So you can easily get all your Dwarven Automata done from just a single steam vent like this. The only issue is, yeah, like, you might get here, and this steam vent over here is just done, and you just gotta wait for shit to respawn, and people just come through and kill everything, so... Yeah, if you can find places that are... like I said, less traveled, can be better for you, because most of the time you're going to be spent for this one is waiting for shit to spawn, because they're super weak, easy to kill on your own, so. But if you've got Orthinium, the DLC, Maelstrom Arena is actually a pretty good option. It's like the only option I would prefer to use for instance areas for Dwarven Automata. There might be a few DLC dungeons, but yeah, you also got to pay for those, whereas... Yeah, we got the whole stone. So, with Maelstrom, what I have done here is, what I would do is get 1 character, just like sort of reserve them on the side, complete the first stage of Maelstrom Arena so that you get to the... where is it? Oh, did I delete the quest? I must have. Shit. Okay, I guess I'll do it again. So, what you need to do is talk to this guy here, if you haven't done this already. You'll get a quest. It's important because Maelstrom Arena, the quest is what saves your progress, and you need to save your progress a little bit. So there's 2 stages here. So you get Veil of the Surreal. This one has no Dwarven Automata, but the second stage does. So what happens is, when you complete this first stage, you'll get access to the second stage. And once you've got the second stage, there is over 5 Dwarven Automata that spawns in each round. And so what you can do is you can clear this stage, like clear this bit, and then you'll be able to just jump straight into the second stage, which is the Dwarven one. And then you can kill a couple of the enemies at the start, and then you can get killed by the rest of the enemies, and it saves your progress up to the round that you're on. So if you don't end up completing the round by killing like all the Dwemer enemies on that round, then you will have the ability to just return to that round specifically and kill all the Dwarven Automata when they show up. And the reason I like this is because you see the people in a sea armature there. They're just killing all the fucking spiders, and sometimes people just have, like, they go fucking nuts with their damage, and it just means you barely have any chance to actually kill any of them, because the other people are just killing them super quick. So what this does is, other players cannot impact your ability to do the Dwarven Automata one in any way. That's why I'm such an advocate for instance areas. So it just means that you're spending less time waiting for it to respawn, and more time just actually killing the shit, and then completing endeavors quicker and going about your day. So just as with the provisioning endeavor, like you have to buy the recipes to start with, this is like a time investment to start with, and then once you've unlocked the second round or second stage, the Maelstrom, or I think it's called Set's Balcony. You don't have to do this anymore. You'll start from the second round, and you don't have to bother with this shit. It's a lot quicker the second time around. Wow, that do the 360. So just probably make sure, if you are going to do it this way, just make sure it's not on vet. Oh, would you look at that? So, oh, you can't pick it up. That sucks. I thought you could pick up the shield on the floor. Okay, so this is the boss. The only annoying thing he does is he puts like a AoE on the floor, and that one there, it'll keep you in place if you let it. So this thing here, it's like the Necromancer one. The on normal is such a pushover. Everything on normal in this is such a pushover. Outside of the DLC notice. So you've got a merchant here if you need. So you can also do the merchant one as well. So you can get 2 of these done like this. So then we go through. And now is the stage we want. So this is Set's Balcony. So when you get in here, there'll be 3 enemies that spawn on this wave, and then 3 enemies that spawn on the next one. As long as you don't kill the 3rd wave of enemies, which is another 3, it won't progress. So kill these guys here, these 3. Get the sentry and the 2 spiders. Then this wave here, kill this one, and you can either kill that one or leave it alive, it doesn't matter. Go into the middle here and start taking lightning damage, or you can just sit here and let the blade kill you. And all you gotta do now is leave, and you look at the quest, it says survive Set's Balcony. So whenever you want to do this Dwarven endeavor, this is a instance way to just run straight in, kill 5 of them, and just leave. So yeah, that's what I prefer doing. Now, what I will also link in the description if you want to peruse it, is there is 2 websites here. I'll have one for the spider and one for the sphere. Now, there are 2 websites here. You've got Elder Scrolls Wiki and you've got UESP. I think it is a good idea to always look at both, because some of the information tends to be a lot more plentiful on one as opposed to the other. Like some enemy types in UESP, there's not much information for them, whereas in the wiki, it's like tons and tons of information for them. So I'll link both of these, but definitely look at the Dwarven Spider on UESP, the Dwarven Sphere on UESP, and both in the wiki, etc., etc. And these are all the locations you can find them. I should say these are some of the locations. They're not all of them. Some locations will also have more that are just not listed. That's why I like using both, because sometimes there are places like on this where they're listed, and then sometimes not so much. All right, so now I'll just jump into the rest of the woodworking one. All right, so from here, this is what I mean. So without even leaving Maelstrom, just go to Imperial City, enter campaign, and you would jump straight in there. Oh, I think am I correct? That's what happens when you have Imperial Sadiq with lots of Telvar. Is that the effect? I've never known for sure. I see people with that. Used to have that effect in out in Overland, but I think they took it away. Anyway, so as you can see here, 3 bows to take to do this endeavor. So the woodworking endeavor. There's some staves here. You can see an Inferno staff. Sometimes I think there's 2. The rest of the stuff's blacksmithing though. There's usually a yeah, you can see a bow there. There's usually a shield here, so it's 6 items. And I don't think this. Oh yeah, there's some shields here. Beautiful. So there's more stuff there. I don't think there's anything in this corner. So yeah, you come over this way. And then over this side, there's also more stuff. So if you come into this room, I think over here there's also a shield on the floor. Yeah, there it is. So there's a shield there. Come into this room and you've got even more stuff. So on this table, you've got some bows. Yeah, you've got a bow there, you've got a bow there. Over here, you've got some shields as well. Over there. And then I think there's also another bow somewhere. Oh, there's some staves here. Beautiful. So there's staves there, bows there. Look, there's tons of woodworking items in here. And so you just take as many as you need. And then we come over to this room here. In all of the safe zones, where am I? Over here. This is the crafting area. So this is where you find the woodworking station. Just go over and just deconstruct those. And that's it. Alright, and now onto the last one. This indicates the exit. So when you go out this way, wherever you were before, it will take you back out to the overland where you travelled in from. In this case, I was in Maelstrom, so I travelled into Maelstrom from the Wayshrine in Oridon, so it took me out of Maelstrom back to the Wayshrine. So yeah, straight back to a Wayshrine to do whatever we want from this point. Beautiful. Okay, so defeating enemies with scribed abilities. So you need to progress in the scribing questline pretty substantially before I think it's worth doing this one. The best way to do this is to sort of segregate yourself to a instanced area, because the thing that counts for this is getting kills where the last thing that kills an enemy is the scribed ability. Anything that takes the enemy from 1 to 0, that's what's going to count. So 1, you do not want to be doing this in a place where there are other players that can get their own kills, because they're going to steal the kills away and take them away from you. So it's going to slow you down. So you want an instance area with lots of enemies. There's a couple of areas, like you can do dungeons, but you can do Skyreach. You can try and do it. You can try and find like a public dungeon that nobody else is in. That's another good way, and it works better for this one compared to the other ones, because there's not many. I don't think the scribed abilities are as good as like class abilities or weapon abilities, because some of the scribed abilities kind of suck. I think this is my personal opinion, but yeah, some of them are good. Like the best ones I think for doing this is going to be okay. So I'll use this because it doesn't show all the other ones. To the store, this guy here. So if you want to buy other, fuck off. If you want to buy stuff here, look, it's 50,000 gold each. It's fucking ridiculous. So yeah, it's a big investment to get this stuff that honestly it's just not as good an endeavor as other ones can be. So I just don't think it's worth it. If you are going to do this one, I'll just go through. If you are to do this one, I don't recommend it over the other ones. If you do want to do it for any particular reason, Soulburst is all seals. These are the absolute basic ones that you're going to want. Soulburst you get from completing the main scribing quest line. All skills you get from being level 5 in Mage's Guild. Trample I actually quite like too, to start with, like to start the fight. because it's like a hallway AoE that travels out, and it travels for ages. Banner Bearer can be pretty good. Yeah, you can increase certain damage types, for example, but it just reduces your sustain, which is sometimes not great. But yeah, Elemental Explosion's good too. The area is huge, and you can get Brittle as one of the effects. If you end up getting this, it's really good because it increases your damage by a ton. The only issue I have with this one is its cast time. So I'd use it at the start of the fight and then just use Soul Burst and all skills, because these are instant cast. Nothing can interrupt these like they can with shit like Elemental Explosion, Trample, Smash, things like this. Shield Throw, it is instant cast, but it's a single target, and I would love to know... Well, yeah, it only bounces to a few enemies. The only one I'm not certain about is Traveling Knife. It says it deals damage to enemies around them, but I don't know how big the area is. If it's only like 6 or 4 meters, then it's useless, I think, just because the area is way too small. But if it's the same as like all shields and stuff like that, maybe you can make a use for it. But I don't know. It doesn't actually tell you what the area is. I'll get this eventually in test, but I actually don't know. So, yeah. Okay, so... as an example here, this is a character that's completed the main questline, and I've got Magical Burst, and then I've also got all shields, so that's what I'm going to use. But yeah, I would avoid this if you can, just because it's just not as good as doing like class kill abilities and stuff like that, I don't think. So try and pick a public dungeon that nobody's going to be at. I guess you could make a case here. There's probably going to be lots of people there, but Razak's Wheel has a bunch of Dwarven Automata in it as well. So you can kill them in like large groups there. Same with Vardenfell in Naturleftinct. There's some Dwarven Automata in there, I believe, as well. There are a couple of options. I think in Orsinium you've also got Rekindle left. There's big groups of Dwarven Automata there. But if you've got Maelstrom, you might as well use that, I think. Alright, I'll just pick one that I don't think anyone will be in. I'll try Lion's Den, right? So it's just humanoid enemies, so surely there's not going to be anyone doing anything in there, right? So it's more than I expected. Oh, would you look at that? Someone's come through and aggroed the fucking Saber Cats. Whatever it is, they haven't aggroed anything. Okay, so what I would do is... I haven't put a heal on, so that's probably a problem. Here's one of the biggest issues I have with scrying abilities. Not a lot of healing. So make sure you have something like Vigor to keep you alive. Otherwise you're just going to die eventually. Because, okay, this is... Come on. Okay, there we go. So, let me explain why healing is such a problem with scryed abilities too, right? So, if you want healing on scryed abilities, right? Let's have a look. So Soul Burst. So you've got healing. Heals you and your allies while you use it. But the problem is, if you put that on Soul Burst, it doesn't actually deal any damage. So kind of goes against what you need for this thing, which is to kill enemies with it. There is Sange's Remedy, but it's fucking like 400 health a second. That's not enough. Like, that's terrible. You've got Vitality. I guess it's only if you have the heal version. Yeah, so there's fuck all healing. The healing for this is not enough for what you need. And then if you go to all shields, again, heal. It just heals instead of deals damage. Sage's Remedy, again, 400 health over 10 seconds is not enough. And there's no Vitality. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can give yourself minor protection, but again, it's not going to be enough. You need healing, not damage resistance. So make sure you've got something like Vigor on your bar, at least, to keep you safe here. Otherwise, you'll get mega wrecked. And stuff like siphoning attacks or Surge can be really helpful. Surge is amazing, because it heals you like 3,000 a second if you crit every time. And yeah, I don't think it's worth it talking about keeping Cyrodiil, because these other options here are just so much easier. So much more reliable, and, you know, a player won't come up and kill you while you're trying to do these ones as opposed to this one. So I just think the risks are far greater for the reward compared to these ones here. So don't bother, I think. Alright, so if you've got any questions about any of this stuff, as always, you just let me know. But daily's done. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I'll see you next time, and take care.